we have to make like these horrible headlines and faces that I just refuse to do. I said, Niche will do that, but I won't. Like,
That's it. That's a cover. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the NFA podcast with Niche Frackers and everyone who's listening. We talk about tips, we talk about advice, but not financial advice, and we give you your weekly crypto news update. So come listen in every week. I'm Niche. I have been in the space since 2018, helped launch hundreds and hundreds of companies to this point, and I absolutely love crypto. I'm a complete degen. I don't invest in traditional finance, which people hate. My boyfriend hates. And Frackers has a very different background. Please go ahead.
I'm with Niche's boyfriend. I'm totally against the fact she doesn't invest in traditional finance. I ran 2 angel funds. In the last 10 years, I've been investing in and developing sustainable projects. And one of them is the Tracer project, where Niche and I are both advisors, which has to do with tokenizing carbon credits, carbon removal credits, which will save the planet. So thank me later.
Agreed.
Yeah. Anyway, so there's so much news this week, and that will probably also lead us to some of the market spotlight things that we want to talk about. It's probably tied in together. But I think, ladies first, what is your news?
The Abu Dhabi Sovereign Wealth Fund, Mubadala, they have 300 billion assets under management. They're one of the largest funds in the world, and they invested close to $500 million in Bitcoin.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This week?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So for them,
Yeah,
okay, but let's put this in perspective. That is what percentage of their total assets under management? 300 billion. I'm so bad at this. 1/6 of 1%. So that is 0.15.
But yeah, so huge move with governments getting involved. And, there's obviously, it's going to bring on a lot more government involvement, I think, over the next few months. And it's quite interesting because we're seeing like a trend of negative market sentiment in the moment, but such a bullish outlook in the long run. So I think personally, and not financial advice, it's a really good time to get in. I think it just creates the perfect ecosystem, but this is not financial advice.
And she's saying that to me, and I currently hold 0 crypto assets, just none. Only some Ethereum for testing purposes, but I have no investments in crypto right now. So I'm out because I thought it was, well, hey, at least I got out at the right time. Agree with me there.
Yeah.
I got out when it was all
I
higher.
guess for someone like me, I'm in it for the long run, right? So like I see the waves and I'm like, it doesn't really matter, it'll go up. Give it like 5 years. It's fine.
At your age, you can do that, but I don't know how many weeks I have, months or years I have ahead of me. At my age, I'm glad I get up every day. So I think the investment, your investment horizon is different. That I think.
Okay, let's play a game. If anyone can guess how old Frackers is, and there's a rule, you cannot know who he is, I will personally send you $100. You cannot do your research. You have to do a guess.
Well, when ChatGPT just came out, fun fact, it declared I was dead. Of course, I searched myself first, and it said I died in 2018.
Okay, so the next one is, again, the Middle East, but crypto app downloads in the UAE reached 15 million in 2024, with a record 2.8 million installs in December alone due to Trump's election.
What are those installs? What kind of downloads? What is that?
So any crypto apps, exchanges, not investments, but like exchanges and, all the wallets and crypto apps overall on app stores. So that was really cool. Because the UAE is quite tied with American politics, right? Even the dirham is tied to the US dollar. And so there's just a lot of connection there. And then finally, there was SafeMoon. So SafeMoon was a token that was a pump and dump, but got extremely popular. And the CTO, his name is Thomas Smith, he finally pled guilty to a $200 million crypto scam.
It's kind of a mix. Are you stupid or gutsy when you do that in the US? In any country?
You just have to have big balls to be able to pull a crypto scam in the US.
Yeah, but maybe big balls instead of brains. I don't see how that ends well. I do think that it's indicative for the whole market when these things are still happening at this scale, like 200 million. That's a sizable scam.
Exactly. But I would love to hear your take on Libra. It's been probably one of the most insane news stories that we've had in a while. And I think that's been a little bit of the death of Solana. But I'll let you get to it.
Yeah, we don't know if it's a death yet or if it's a temporary coma. But we'll get to that when we go to the NFA Market Spotlight. We should have like a jingle. NFA Market Spotlight. Here are Nisha's picks. But so Libra, what happened was I got an email from a newsletter first saying that this Libra coin, that the Argentinian president was involved with the launch of a meme coin. That was weird. So first people thought maybe his account was hacked, his Twitter account, his X account was hacked. Then he admitted that he was involved. Then the tweets got deleted, which is weird. And then what came out is that as the token became public in a DeFi pool and was available for purchase by the general public, it got sniped. Now, what is sniping? You're on.
Okay. So there are different ways of sniping, but basically you have these bots that will buy the token as soon as it's launched. And yeah, they essentially get it before anyone else because bots work exponentially faster than humans can. And you can deploy like thousands of snipers that will basically grab your tokens before the launch. So as soon as it's launched, like a second in.
As soon as it launched, right? The moment it happens.
Yeah, they have
and
like
it's instant,
thousands.
like within like seconds, right? Or milliseconds. Mm-hmm. It's super fast, right?
It's so fast.
And then the price goes up because many people start buying on a DeFi pool. It goes up. And the moment, in this case, Libra went up, it crashed again because so many people started selling. But then it turned out that the people that were selling and had been sniping were people involved with the founding of the project. And that is it was a total rug pull, which is another great expression I learned in crypto. But it's the fact that one of these guys came forward and then contacted CoffeeZilla, an investigative journalist with a great YouTube account. I'll put all the links to all the stuff, what my sources are in the show notes. But the amazing thing is he just admitted to CoffeeZilla what happened. And then, I don't know if you saw that part, he asked CoffeeZilla if he wanted to get in on the multisig wallet that had $100 million in it to somehow redistribute to the people that were a victim of this whole scam. And CoffeeZilla, which, by the way, brilliant name, he refused. But the interview in itself is amazing because the guy basically admitted to like 5 or 6 different counts of illegal activities.
They sold $83.5 million, the insiders.
But how did he have 100 million then? One of the guys, I think his name is Hayden Davis, the guy that did the interview with CoffeeZilla, who said he was involved
so they
with the
probably
project.
just kept that in the wallet, but this is the amount that they sold and took profits off, which is crazy. Because imagine like you snipe your token and then the Argentinian president tweets about it and then the price goes up to, I think it hit almost $5 per token, which was a $5 billion market cap. And they basically just sold $83.5 million at that point. It's wild.
So the people that are victims here, just to clarify, are the people that bought in as the price was going up, not realizing that it was a pump and dump, that the people that got in when it was offered to the public in a DeFi pool earliest were the project founders who were also selling it at the moment it was at the highest point.
It's that you have sniped your token and you have sold such a big chunk after telling all the retail to get in. So that's firstly ethically questionable. Secondly, if you just built your did you see that apply? If you just build your meme coin ecosystem and at a government level, you have so much more that you can integrate within it. For example, if the Argentinian president said, yeah, actually, if you book tour guides and hotels using this meme coin, you can get certain benefits. Like it could be anything. If you have the president backing you, use it in the long run, and plan long term, you can actually make a lot more money without being put in such a negative spotlight. But people fail to see the long-term vision. And you're right, meme coins don't have any fundamentals, right? But I have to say, I feel like this was like the final straw for the meme coin market.
You think this is like the FTX moment for meme coins?
I want to say so because it was initially Trump and then it was Melania, and this is just the third strike, you know?
Here's the thing. So I was involved with a few IPOs, and I was surprised back in the 90s, this was, how IPOs worked. One was the Dutch Royal Phone Company going public on Wall Street, and was underwritten by, I think, Goldman Sachs, and it was like, clearly it was a government company selling shares to the public. It was privatizing a formerly state-owned business. So it was a huge IPO, and I happened to be the internet guys. But what was interesting is when the company went public, and I didn't notice at first at all, and this is what's been referred to by many people that are project founders in crypto and launched crypto tokens on exchanges. The moment first of all, the couple of weeks before an IPO, they start pre-selling to big banks around the world. And they do that during something called a roadshow, which is now something is laughable. And you would do like a 3-week, 4-week roadshow around the world and pre-sell to banks and institutional investors at a price, and now here we're getting to it, that was lower than the opening price would be. They would set the opening price based on the price that was set during the roadshow. So let's say the roadshow, they figured out, okay, we could sell it at 18 to this group of people. We'll sell a chunk at 18, which means we can float it at 22. So right there, $4 are made by the private institutions that were, privy to be, to that had inside access to buy during the roadshow. But the retail investor, of course, was not invited in that group. So there's so many things that crypto people say they point at in traditional IPOs where they have a point, but that doesn't make it right, either ethically, and it doesn't make it legally right.
It's crazy. It's weird. Market making in crypto has become a norm. If you do not launch with a market maker, people laugh at you.
And in the old days, in my old days, with IPOs,
back in my day,
the banks would have that role. The banks that took you public supported the price, but listen to this, only for a certain amount of time and only for a certain percentage of the price. Now, if you would drop below 10%, they're like, oh, we're we're not going to support this because it's billions. So they would do it for a certain amount of time, for a certain amount of drop in the price. But if it tanked, it tanked, which happened a lot with internet stocks, of course.
It's actually insane. I mean, the amount of scams that go through market makers in crypto alone is just insane. And you actually have certain tokens that you can find with really bad market makers, and you can trade against the market makers and, I guess, essentially mess with them.
Well, the unfair thing about it, of course, is that the retail purchasers, the retail investors don't have equal access and and that is what makes it unfair.
Yeah.
So
but
so this with Libra, it's basically a huge shit show. I hope it ends the meme coin craze. I'm not a big fan of meme coins, as we've established.
It has sucked such a large amount of liquidity out of some really high quality projects in the space. And it's quite funny because I was going through a couple of articles on the Solana ecosystem over the week, and so many of them have called Solana a meme coin hellhole, of just this slurry that Pump Fund has created.
Well, I was going to ask you, but are they wrong? Because this is my question. I'm just reading from my script. Are they wrong? Is Solana, does it have other applications than meme coins?
100%. So Anatoly, he did an interview with one of the companies that I help out every now and then. They're called Bravo Ready. And they invited him to play their game, and they're built on Solana. They're this really cool.
Who's him?
Anatoly, the co-founder of Solana.
Okay.
So they invited him to play the game, and he was giving insights while playing. So it was like a casual interview, but really, really interesting because he basically said that the way that blockchain gaming is set up is like a no-brainer for traditional games to get in. It's created such a vast ecosystem, and he wants Solana to be that. But based on what I've read over the last week, he's also been not so... He's made it clear that he didn't want Solana to turn into a meme coin hellhole, so to speak. He's happy that, people use it and it's getting that adoption, but I think it's just gone a bit too far with Libra and Trump and Melania.
But do games from traditional gaming industry use Solana at all already? Is that happening? Because it's been always amazing to me that there are not more blockchain-based games because you can do all the payments. Yeah,
I know. With this one, they're backed by Krafton, the creators of PUBG. They're backed by some really big names. And the CEO also has a lot of experience in gaming. One of his previous companies got acquired by another gaming giant. Like, he's really well known in the gaming space. And they have built a pay to spawn, kill to earn game on Solana. So you pay $1 to spawn, and every time you make a kill, you get $1.
Yeah, but the hard part is, Niche, that developing a good game, it's the same as with movies. 1 in 100 becomes a hit. It's a very hit-driven business. And then to have a blockchain is basically adding complexity on complexity. And I think that is why game developers have shied away from it, because it's already it's such a high-risk business to develop games that I can imagine that it's hard, but someone has to just start from the blockchain side maybe. And it's easy for me to say it's so expensive. It's cost millions.
You have to remember, traditional gamers have always, historically, been averse to crypto. I think they were first exposed to crypto during the whole Silk Road and all the scams on the dark web that was going on. So now to them, crypto just has a bad name. I think it's getting better, but it'll take some time before we get there.
Microsoft had a quantum computing breakthrough, so it claims. So I have to read this. When I look down, I'm reading from the screen because my English is not so good. Microsoft has announced that it has created the first topological qubits. Why do I want to have that in here? Because later then in a few years we can say we mentioned it on the show, even though I have no idea what it means. But it has created... Have you heard of topological qubits in dentistry? It's a way of storing quantum information that the firm hopes, the firm would be Microsoft, will underpin a new generation of quantum computers, and machines based on topology are expected to be easier to build at scale than competing technologies because they should better protect the information from noise. But some researchers are skeptical of the company's claims. I did, and I'll link to that in the show, I did a forum in a conference in Singapore 2 years ago with Ray, I think it's, God, I hate to butcher his name. So I know I got Ray right. And he explained in 7 minutes everything. He's an IBM technology fellow, everything about quantum computing that we should know. And it was really brilliant. And he was so brilliant. And I'm going to link to it because he explains that if quantum computing becomes available, which he expects it to be, listen to this, 5 to 10 years out from now, but closer to 5, 10, it will break all encryption, including in crypto. So, and everything, the way we store our passwords now and your secret key and everything will be completely useless. So there's a flip side of quantum computing related to crypto that we should really care about. And that he said that every company out there, every individual right now should be thinking about other ways to store their assets, including crypto, because of quantum.
We should bring him on.
We should have him on. The third big news that I have, which I just think it's big, is that ex-OpenAI leaders and founders are raising billions for OpenAI competitors. So 2 of them are really famous that have left. One is, oh God, I'm butchering another name. His name is Ilya, the former OpenAI chief scientist. Super brilliant guy, according to everybody that's worked with him. But he launched a startup called Safe Superintelligence, SSI. I love the name, Safe Superintelligence. He's raising at a $30 billion valuation. When you go to the website of Safe Superintelligence, it's one page. I call it a one-page, 30 billion company. I just think it's brilliant. I love these kind of stories. And I hope it's going to, add something to the AI space that's not out there. The second one is Thinking Machines Lab, the startup launched by former OpenAI CTO Mira Murati. No one knows yet what the valuation is she is raising at. It's still an undisclosed valuation. But now she knows that Ilya, her former colleague, is raising at 30 billion. She recruited more than 30 people from OpenAI and Anthropic. So she's got some really smart people. Then I'm going to do one really quickly here in news, but it's important. President Xi, the Chinese president, he summoned the country's tech leaders for the first time in 6 years, in fact. He met with a group of tech entrepreneurs, including the founder of DeepSeek, but also including Jack Ma, the former founder and CEO of Alibaba. Jack Ma we say in Amsterdam, started believing in himself a lot. I've gone through that phase. I'm still sort of in it. But you can believe yourself too much. He started commenting on Chinese politics, and next thing you know, he disappeared. Maybe you noticed. And then this whole IPO he was going to do of Ant Group, the whole IPO of Ant Group got cancelled, and it was going to be the biggest IPO in history. It didn't happen. So he's back in good graces, and it basically shows how important China thinks at its top leadership, the technology is
100%. But I remember reading the statistic. I think this was back in 2011. So I don't even know what it is now. But technology students, from the time that they enter to the time of graduation, the things that they've learned is already outdated because of the speed that technology is growing at, which is so interesting. And now, I mean, with the advent of AI coming into, the building blocks, I think we're seeing such a huge shift. And I'm actually happy that China's recruiting their entire tech leaders, because I think what happened with DeepSeek really showed the potential of what other countries can do,
Yeah, I mean, their technical prowess is really not anymore under debate.
We're seeing that shift again, right? The Chinese cars have been banned in the US. They've taken over the Middle East. I have a Chinese car.
Because they're good. And that's why they ban them. They ban them because they're good cars, not because they're bad cars. And that's, I totally agree. And the same thing in software technology. It's this idea that the West is smarter, Europe and US than Asia. It's a joke. It's total
false,
joke. So
and
DeepSeek
China's proving it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's good or bad though, but that's the whole thing. I just want world peace. I'm like Miss World. I mean, everybody confuses me with her. I want world peace. I don't want it to be used against each other. That's what I'm hoping. Okay, then my final thing, which is not big news, but I did know that this week the Formula One season kicked off with an announcement in London in the, what's that thing called? O2 Arena. And all the teams were there. And then I looked at the number of crypto sponsors. And you, being in marketing in crypto, listen to this list. It's unbelievable. I mean, Aston Martin is now sponsored by Coinbase. Partnership is fully paid in USDC. They announced that in the sponsoring partnership, paid in USDC. Red Bull Racing is now sponsored by Gate.io. It's on the rear wing. But last year, you remember at Token 2049 in Singapore, Max Verstappen, 4-time world champion from my home country, was still there on the stage with the CEO and founder of Bybit. So Bybit is off and has been replaced by Gate.io, which is amazing. The McLaren is sponsored by OKX. We used to say OKX. Do we now say OKX? Because they got rid of the E. OKX. And then there is Williams, sponsored by Kraken, American company. And then Crypto.com is an official sponsor of Formula One. So it says something that crypto, as we all know, Formula One is the most expensive sport in the world. And crypto is so big in the sponsorships. Then you know how big that market is if your marketing budget allows for the sponsorship of F1 teams. I mean, it's that simple, really. It's crazy.
And back, 2 years ago, I was working with this company through agency. They're called World Mobile. And they had sponsored a football team. And during one of the PR cycles, one of my pitches was that I realized that in that year, in 2022, there was a 700% increase in sports sponsorships because of crypto companies. Isn't that insane? Yeah. And this was 3 years ago.
And now it's must. I would love to know how much they're paying. Like, what does Gates pay to be on the rear wing of the world champion car?
I just found an article on that.
You found an article?
I did, yes. So from I'll skip to 2024. Well, actually, in 2021, Crypto.com put in $700 million into the Staples Center.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crypto.com then did a $100 million deal in 2021 with Aston Martin Formula One. And in Coppa Italia for soccer.
Yeah.
Football.
Football.
It doesn't have the number. But still, just crazy numbers.
Who uses Crypto.com? I really want to know. Who uses Crypto.com? Do you know anybody that uses it? Seriously.
Money launderers.
Do you know anyone?
I have no idea.
Nope.
I actually don't. No.
I've asked so many people, do you know anyone that uses Crypto.com? I have never heard anyone say yes. Zero. I'm so curious. Can somebody tell me who is a customer at Crypto.com?
We should put a poll. If you use Crypto.com.
Let us know. No, do you know anyone that uses it? You don't even have to use it yourself. They don't seem to appear in my circle.
Yeah,
but I never met anyone that bought anything or sold anything on Crypto.com. I see them everywhere. So that's I just find it funny. Okay, so let's go to the NFA Market Spotlight. Do you have any tips that you want to share with us after your golden tip that Solana and Sui were going to kick ass?
Okay, and like I said, long-term hold. Okay, not short-term. Also, this isn't even financial advice, so I don't know why you'd listen to me.
I'm here. So here's the thing. I know it's not financial advice, but I can read numbers. So here from the top of my head, I just checked it just before the show. Here it goes. So Bitcoin went up 90% in the last year. Solana 68. In the last month, Solana dropped 30%, Bitcoin dropped 6%. Why would anyone buy Solana if you make less money than Bitcoin and you lose more? You know what I mean? So your drop is higher, but your upside is lower and your downside is higher. Why would you buy Solana?
I wouldn't say that the upside is lower. I wouldn't say that. I actually think that Solana has a lot more potential than just to stay at a couple $100. I think it has potential to grow a lot more. A lot. Look, I'm trying not to give financial advice here, but
no. But you can say your opinion.
Yeah,
that's what you believe.
So I believe that Solana is actually going to lead the wave for mass adoption. I feel like their infrastructure and the way that the company has been set up, especially with the Fire Dancer update, it has allowed them to do significantly more transactions per second than any other blockchain. And yeah, they had their outages, and they have their growing pains, but in the meantime, they're still using this time to firstly fix those, and secondly, forge those connections with government institutions and banks to make sure that they can onboard them. I think as long as you know your investment strategy, I think that's really what it boils down to is what investment strategy are you following? What do you want to get out of it? Do you understand the markets enough to understand what it means to even invest in Solana? For me personally, I believe in the project. Obviously everyone's in crypto for speculation. I'm not here rooting for Solana team and Anatoly, I'm in it for, the speculation. But I do feel like it has a long way to go and a lot of potential to actually, I don't know if it'll replace Ethereum, but with the
it seems to be the clearest competitor, right? It seems to be the most viable competitor.
It's the closest thing right now. And if you put that into perspective, it's super undervalued.
It's hard to value what kind of metrics you put in it. So I don't have tips. If I would be in crypto again, I will buy Solana. And if it goes up, I'll say it was my idea. And if it goes down, I'll blame you because that's the kind of person I am. But for diversification, seriously, for diversification, you don't want to have only Bitcoin probably. So then you spread some out, you diversify. But I still think right now, because of AI, and clearly I have to say that because of AI, which I still think hundreds of billions are going in AI this year, next year. And since investors value stocks still on a quarterly basis, pretty much on the last 3 months performance, not on a 5-year or 10-year vision, because most investors really don't have any because they don't understand the technology. Yeah. I still think NVIDIA and hardware side and Palantir are going to do great because they're going to benefit from AI. So I'm still looking for more companies that will benefit from the AI wave because it's past the hype. It's a wave where there are hundreds of billions are being allocated. So I still think for the short term, meaning 3 months to a year, I believe more in stocks than I do in crypto.
This can be interesting to see how it plays out. Okay, so you remember that token that I mentioned? It's called Pain. It was launched by the same team as 9gag, right? And they raised 186,000 SOL. And at the time, it was, $200 per Solana. So you do the math. They did a phenomenal pre-sale, right? They refunded...
I think 40 million, I think. Yeah, they raised 40 million at a certain point, depending on what Solana was doing, right? It was 40 million, $35 to $40 million. Yeah.
Yeah. And they basically refunded everyone 80% of whatever they invested and then still airdropped them the entire token amount because they're like, we really don't need this much money to launch our token. And they launched finally, and I actually ended up receiving 80% of what I put in, which, as you know, for me, my meme coins is
Are there on exchanges
minimal.
now? Are they somewhere safe where I could buy them with my USDC or USDT?
I don't know if you want to buy them. I mean, it's not.
No, yeah.
It's
not
tricky.
It's tricky.
It's not.
It's a meme coin.
Yeah. To be honest, like I no longer hold pain, and I might get some shit for this, but it's fine. I got the token and I got my Solana, which was so nice. Because I've never seen anything like this, but I feel like when a meme coin launches with so much hype, there's only one direction it can go, because everyone's already got into the pre-sale.
And this is not a tip, but it's not up.
Exactly.
It's not up.
Exactly.
All right, we got to run. Do you have any other tips? What do you have?
No, but I did have an update on that token Tind. You remember that?
Yeah, the Tinder swindler. Oh, in closing, let's close with the Tinder swindler.
Yeah, so I don't know if you've looked at the chart, but basically they're down like massively. I think at their peak, they had done a $5 million market cap. They're now sitting at a 1.3 million market cap. And if you look at their chart, you can see like 2 major drops, which is quite sad. But again, I think the meme coin market is just...
But I still don't understand. Why would you buy a token from a known swindler and a horrible person based on the documentary? Just a horrible human being. I mean, I just don't understand why you would buy that token. Because you think it will go up? He's going to share the proceeds with you? Because he's such a reliable dude?
After scamming all those women. But he's putting out a documentary to clear his name. He's actually in Dubai. And he's putting out a documentary on his side of the story, which is quite interesting. We'll see how that goes.
That will be a real great independent find. Now, okay. Well, look, I don't want to close on the Tinder swindler. Do you have anything other than baby pictures of your nephew that were nice and so we can close more upbeat than on the Tinder swindler? What's going to happen for next week? Okay, I got one. Let's say this. What do you think? Next week, will the crypto market, be up or down compared to today? We're taping on Friday.
I will say up because I'm going to be positive. That's really the only reason. What about you? What's your prediction?
I say it will be a little bit down, but not much because of the whole Ukraine, Trump, Europe, the just general economic friction in the world. Just because
How
of that.
about we make it interesting? Whoever gets it wrong has to do the podcast after eating a green chili.
Okay, we'll do that. We'll see next week, and then we'll see who has to eat the green chili before the next episode. Live.
Okay, done.
All right.
Live.
Have a nice weekend. See you next week.
See you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.